and welcome to another episode of Live Well. My name is Mary Blake, your host, and so happy to have every week sitting down with phenomenal individuals and leaders around our community to just give their take on how they're able to navigate life physically, financially, and spiritually. Today, I have the honor of visiting with one of the top executive professional coaches, published author, socialite, could go on and on, media personality, Mr. Mercedes Fuller. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Mary. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about just how this phenomenal journey you started. I've seen you on the news. I've seen your books, podcast information. I mean, you're doing everything.
When you ask that question, it forces me to catch my breath because I feel like I am constantly running, but running in the direction of purpose. I am so grateful because I have the opportunity every day to serve others and to serve organizations and really help them steward their purpose. I have the opportunity to serve organizations, serve people, and help them steward their purpose. I work with high capacity individuals and high capacity organizations to align their purpose with performance. And because it's what I recognize is if your purpose is not clear, your purpose will not expand. So when your purpose is clear, your power expands and then the profits follow.
Absolutely.
So I get to do this work through the Executives Vault Consultancy, which I founded after I transitioned away from the nonprofit world. And I am the host of the Move with Mercedes, the podcast, where it's my goal to help people make their next move their best move. And, you mentioned that I'm an author. I'm currently writing a new book and the deadline and the pressure is on. So that's just a little bit about what I do. But the biggest gift that I see with my career and my work is spending time with individuals such as yourself that have a desire to move to the next level.
I love that. And speaking of purpose, because oftentimes in life, people are, I think the term is they're the non-main character, where they're just kind of living life, going through the motions, get up, go to work, go home, repeat, etc., without really taking on a purpose and a passion. What is something that you could tell to someone who they're just kind of living day to day? They may not know what that looks like for their life.
When I think about the premise of your show, living well, that's something that's near and dear to me. And living well is not about having more. Living well is about becoming aligned. And so the thing that I desire to do in my work is help people become more aligned to their purpose. Because when you're aligned with your why and you're aligned with the things that you're gifted to do, it gives you reason to wake up with fire. It gives you reason when you're clear about who you are destined to be and who you're destined to impact and the move making momentum that you're gifted. It gives you a reason to just do the thing on the next level every time you have the opportunity to do it. So it sounds so cliche, but I would be clear and get clear and work to be clear on your why.
On your why. Knowing your why.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Your why and your what. Because if you're clear on your why and your what, the how will make sense.
Will become clear. Yes. What do the next 5 years look like for Mercedes?
Wow.
What are some of the accomplishments that you would love to?
What a loaded question. Thanks, Mary.
Give us,
I'll take the challenge. I'll take the challenge.
Top 3.
So over the next 5 years, I desire to really be a voice
Okay.
to those that are motivated, but then a voice to those that need more motivation. And, I desire to be one of those trusted voices that people listen to that will help them really walk through this thing that we call life. And that comes through a myriad of platforms and systems. So it looks like, me writing new books, and it looks like the online courses and podcast. And, I have a big challenge right now with the podcasting space. I learned, and this is one of the things that I downloaded when I was going through my vision time this year. It's not just about one podcast for me. If I desire to be one of those trusted voices, I need to bring other voices with me as well. So launching my podcast network this year was something that was big, but ultimately I want to grow that. I want to scale that. And I want to bring other trusted voices with me and allow them to really maneuver different spaces that resemble their zones of genius, their lanes of genius, and really, truly, I know it's cliche, but really, truly change the world.
Yeah.
And that's, I want to use whatever platform is necessary to be able to do just that.
That's fantastic. For someone who maybe they're a student, or maybe they have lost themselves, what would be some of the most important advice you would give them, as far as, we talked a little bit about purpose, but more so understanding how they can create impact in their own respective industries. We've got so many people that are in social media as well. Maybe they're in health and wellness. Maybe they are in engineering. Maybe they're aspiring to be an entrepreneurial and go into that space. What are some of the kind of just the key aspects to keep in mind regarding of where you're going that they would want to focus on?
Yeah, I would say desire to live a fully loaded life. Desire to live a fully loaded life. I have a few pillars that I think about that I work at every day. And it takes intentionality to live a fully loaded life. But prioritize mental and spiritual health.
Yes, very important.
I would say prioritize physical health, understand financial literacy.
Very important.
Work at that. Work at that. Have a plan financially, but you can't plan until you understand what there is to plan financially.
What your purpose is.
Purpose alignment is another one of those pillars, but then community and contribution. There's something that you can contribute to someone else, and there's something that you can contribute to your community as well. And if you align yourself with, and I'm not necessarily saying to somebody, use my 5 pillars. If they work for you, they work for you. But if you align yourself to something that's greater than you, it will allow you to land where you're destined to land. If you aspire higher, you'll land in the place where you're supposed to land.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do they say? If you shoot for the moon, at least you land in the stars.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
I've heard that a few different ways. I've heard, if you want a cat, ask for a lion, go big.
I've never heard that
Go
one.
big, and you'll eventually land the thing that you really truly desire, or the thing that you're destined for.
For sure.
Because sometimes we don't know what it is that we're destined to do until we get there and we're doing the thing, and you're like, oh.
And you look back and you realize the whole way that no matter what happened, you were still on the right path.
Yes, and you were being shaped for that.
Correct.
Yeah,
Molded.
yeah.
Do something fun here.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do in Dallas, and why? Or favorite restaurant?
Well, when you ask for the favorite thing, my favorite thing to do in Dallas is eat. And I can't even select just one restaurant because there
We
are
have so many restaurants.
So much good food. I will tell you that, I love a good Southern meal. I'm big on Southern comfort. And because I travel so much, I like having like a taste of home. So fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, sweet potatoes, greens.
Something hearty.
Yeah. Cornbread and some form of cake or cobbler or cookie. And I'm a dessert fiend. So I might have all three at one time. Don't judge me. I walk judgment. 8 miles in the morning just so that I can, continue to eat the way that I eat.
I was going to say, you look great physically.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so
that
much.
is
Trying
also,
to keep up with you.
Well, I mean, come join me in the gym.
You're on your fitness. I don't want to join you in the gym because I think you can outperform me in the gym.
No, I don't think so.
Mary, you're very committed, and I admire that because as long as I've known you, you've kept a healthy gym routine.
Thank you.
And
it's really to the fact that, not speaking a whole lot on myself, but a lot of health problems run in my family.
Absolutely.
And that was never something that I wanted in my life.
Right.
Because you may have certain genes for, we'll say diabetes, for example, on both my mother and father's side, both my parents were very physically fit, and both of them didn't want diabetes. They didn't want high cholesterol. And so they kind of paved the way on, leading a physically fit life. And now my brother and I are very physically fit, but we see, unfortunately, that a lot of our family are still very overweight and very unfit. And it's a mindset. You just get up and you do it and you stay consistent.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That brings a good point, though, awareness, being aware of your history, being aware of what you could be susceptible to.
Absolutely.
And that helps you plan, something different for your life if you're aware. And I think that's when it comes to vision, when it comes to living well, when it comes to your perspective on life, if you plan and if you use your research, the stuff, the history, the knowledge that you've been gifted about where you come from and what's, what may exist in your family or your bloodline, you can work around anything. Absolutely. Proper planning.
We're created by God to do just about anything.
Absolutely.
And He has created us so phenomenally. And I think a lot of people, like you said, they're just not aware.
Right.
So if people want to get a hold of you and they are going to love you, obviously, how can they reach you? Whether social media, email address, what's the best way to find Mercedes Fuller?
So thank you so much for that. On social media, at Mercedes Fuller on all of the platforms. So it's MarcedesFuller. And then my website is mercedesfuller.com. Those are some of the best platforms and places to reach me. And I definitely look forward to serving and supporting however I can.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I look forward to furthering our collaborations and partnership because I can just tell that we'd be able to take it to the next level.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we are going to have another phenomenal leader here in Dallas. So stay tuned. But in the meantime, please reach out to one of my good friends, Mercedes, because he will help you to level up, whether it's your business, whether it's your life, whether you are just looking for purpose or passion or desire or some of the key pillars that he mentioned today. He is going to be the subject matter expert. So highly recommend him. And he's also pretty funny. So if you just want to laugh, also contact him for that. And like you said, he can eat. So be prepared for a meal. So thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Hi, my name is Ryan and I'm a frequent luxury traveler. I love exploring new destinations, but planning for last-minute trips can be overwhelming, especially when it comes to finding the right travel essentials. During my trips, I would often struggle finding the necessary items or preparing for excursions, leaving me more exhausted than before I left. That's when I came across Travel Pro, a company that provides personalized travel kits. Now all I have to do is submit my destination, travel dates, and planned activities. And Travel Pro delivers a customized travel kit right to my door. With Travel Pro's convenience and ease, I can now focus on enjoying my trips, knowing that I have everything I need for a healthy and stress-free adventure. Thanks to Travel Pro, my last trips have been more enjoyable than ever. Sign up today and plan your next trip with ease.
Welcome back. And often in Live Well, most of our guests talk about living in the metaphorical sense, and that's physical health, physical living, mental living, financial living, and what that means in a lifestyle of living well. Very seldom do we get to talk about living in a literal sense. Today, I am pleased to be joined by a good friend of mine, Mr. Stephen Orifice. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Mary.
Yes. So, you're our first guest on here that actually gets to work with people and companies as relates to living in a physical sense. And for you don't know, Stephen is the project manager at Huso Construction. And I was looking at a little bit of y'all's services. Y'all do everything.
Man.
Tell us about these services a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. This has been a dream of mine to become a full general contractor. Mm-hmm. So, through relationship building, I can't say enough about networking as how me and you met, right? Yeah. So just continue to shake hands and kiss babies, what I call it. But get out there and meet people, because that's how I was able to meet Ben Huso, the owner of Huso Construction, and partner with him. And just combine and be able to do everything, right? Because I got to the point where I was just a window and door company, and I had a lot of my clients coming to me asking for roofing, asking for foundation work, flooring, all different pieces of the home, HVAC. And that was a goal of mine when I moved here to Texas 3 years ago. Was I wanted 3 pieces of the home to understand the most important, which is the roof, the windows and doors, and the HVAC system. So they streamline that energy efficiency portion of the home. It's the most expensive in your home, so you really need somebody trustworthy to be able to guide you, educate you, and take care of your home like it's your own. So that's been a blessing to be able to come into a general contracting situation.
That's
and
fantastic.
By the grace of God, it happened at the right time, right place. And they were looking for somebody to help them grow. Yep. And I was looking for somebody to, partner with, and long-term for stability and growth, and family owned, and just a match made in heaven. So
that's fantastic. And when it comes to a home, how are you able to tell, or how are you able to advise people the different qualities of whether it's roofing, whether it's windows, whether it's doors, whether it's the foundation? How can you see? Because to me, I see, they're building they're building new homes, or they're putting in a new neighborhood. How can you tell what they're putting in?
Yeah, I love that question, because people they underestimate the work that it takes to get to the point to be able to give advice. And I'm blessed that I have 7 years in windows. I have coming up on 2 years in roofing.
Wow.
So for me, it took a lot of trial and error and getting out there and learning from the best. I had great mentors, great coaches, and people that I've worked for in the past. So after experiencing that and going through different transformations, either home or business, you start to learn what makes sense for people. You start to get a knack for what kind of home you're walking into. Mm-hmm. Is it modern, contemporary? Is it traditional? There's different aspects, like with an eye, like I bring into baseball, you have to bring into construction. So you have to really understand somebody's home. It's not a quick 5-minute walk in, walk out. It's a 30-minute to an hour job site inspection, and taking detailed photos and measurements, and going back to the computer, sitting down and recommending something that your client would like. And I'm a big ABC guy, good, better, best. Give people options and choices. That's why I got into the window business, because it's like a broker scenario where you can have different brands, different materials, different aesthetics. So people have choices. So I'm not one to come in and push a product on you. I want to come in and give you options, and let's pick what works best for you and your family. So, I would say the experience is a huge piece. And I have, having good utilities and a resource team behind you to go to when you don't know something is super important. So now I have Ben, on the GC side, I know windows and doors. We have a concrete guy. We have different, I have a flooring team. I have different teams to go to now, which is pretty cool. And I get to walk the job sites and actually understand the sales process and the recommendation process.
Wow. You're giving me so much there. That's amazing. It definitely tells you're passionate about
Thank
it and
you.
knowledgeable. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's important. So, I'm an athlete. So for me, you have to put in the same amount of time into what you want to do for a career, right? To be successful. So, and the home today is so important. It's so expensive to live.
Yeah.
So it's really important when you do these home repairs, you got to go with somebody trustworthy, has good reviews. You trust their advice and that you can, get a good product that you hopefully like a window and door. Hopefully you're only doing once in your lifetime or a roof.
Yeah.
Dallas is tough because of the weather, but
yes.
So you might be getting multiple roofs, but
Yes.
that's why it's important to have good people for each category. And when you get a good GC like myself, I can point you in the right direction, have good crews in every area. So you're only dealing with one person and it's you're not feeling overwhelmed when something else goes wrong in your house.
Right.
Hey, now my plumbing needs help. I don't know who to go to. I only have a window guy. I only have a roofer. I don't have this trade, and it's very stressful. And you don't know the monetary budget that you need. The planning, how many days of the home is that crew going to need to uproot you and your family or possibly be an annoyance, like a roof or, where they're pounding on the roof all day or windows and doors. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 days for 50 plus windows in some of these homes. So you got to plan ahead. You have to know what to expect. And people like expectations. And I'm big on communication.
I see. You mentioned earlier that you've had the advantage of having mentors and training, and for someone, say, they're in school or they maybe they're transitioning or pivoting in life. What is some advice or information you would give to someone about seeking out the right type of mentorship and the right type of training so that they themselves could maybe one day be a subject matter expert like yourself?
For sure. I appreciate you asking that question. Number one is Dallas DFW has some of the best trade schools around. I was able to tour them and actually get around and meet some of the teachers when I first moved here 3 years ago at McKinney. So having that blessing and seeing the opportunities that DFW gives to trades. Where I'm from, New York, Poughkeepsie, New York, Hudson Valley, construction's big, but there's a real huge emphasis here in DFW for the youth at a school to go right into a trade.
Really?
So more than ever now, the opportunities at your fingertips to go through one of those trade schools that's like a community school, so the budget and the tuition is probably half, if not 3/4 more or less than a full university. So, if you're not sure what you're going to do at a university, I say go into a trade school for 2 years, get your credits, learn a valuable trade. Because even if you don't go into that trade for a career, you're going to be a homeowner one day.
Right.
It's good to know these things and understand the ins and outs. And it really helps you save a lot of money, a lot of headaches.
That's true.
And you become an expert in those fields. And to me, that's fun.
Yeah. That's phenomenal. So you mentioned earlier that you're an athlete.
Yeah.
And I know you play baseball. Tell us a little bit about what made you interested in baseball and how you're able to relate the diligence and consistency of your physical health, of being an athlete, into something that you can implement into your work.
Yeah, sports and business go hand in hand, man. If it wasn't for sports, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Just because of the discipline you need, the consistency, the teamwork attitude, which is in today's world has kind of gone away because of all these, virtual jobs, right? So it's hard to build relationships with people.
AI is doing everything.
AI does a lot, which is a beautiful thing for business too. But you really I was really forced to learn at a young age how to work with other kids on my team. And then as you get older, you get to play with those kids all the way through, going into high school, going into college. So you see different personalities, you get to know their families. So you just get a really great mix of what the real world is like, when you're competing at a high level like I did.
That's true. That's very true.
And baseball, started for me at a young age through my father who, almost got drafted, played in the Twins organization, minor leagues. My brother played Division I, Marist
So your
College.
family is an athletic family.
We're very athletic. I played Division II in baseball. My sister was a softball player. So big sports is a big part of my foundation.
Good.
And I'm so grateful for that. My mom and dad sacrificed a ton for me to play those sports, because I see it in Dallas. I coach a 10-year-old select team here in Dallas because I couldn't stay away from the game, even doing construction. But, there's such a value that goes along with that, but there's a cost too with select.
Yeah.
So, it's really important to know the costs, know the coaches, know the trainers, and make sure it's going to be a good fit.
Fantastic. Very true. I played basketball and ran track and played volleyball all through, I played soccer from like 4 years old all the way through middle school. And then I played volleyball all the way to college. And I played 1 year in college. And then I tore my ACL.
Oh, the injury is one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
That's why it's never, it's always good to start your career as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Always. And that's why I love entrepreneurship, because you see all the athletes now, the ones that have retired,
they transition,
they start
and they
transitioning,
become business owners.
and they're business owners, and they're usually pretty successful right off the bat.
They're usually pretty good.
So, and they have their relationships built. They, it's an easy transition from that discipline.
Sometimes they make even more money depending on what
It's
business
crazy.
they go into.
I wish I was back
Yeah.
in college right now with name, image, likeness. If between me and you knowing social media,
Yes.
back then we could have been millionaires already. So,
Well, it's coming. It's still coming.
That's right.
Well, good. What is an accomplishment that in the next 5 years, 10 years professionally you'd like to see in yourself and in your business?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just got asked that question today, and I've been thinking about that. With the new year, drawing up my goals. For me, it's not even about the money; it's about the freedom.
Okay, I love
so successful people fight for freedom, not for money. And for me, that's always been a goal, to build a strong team underneath me in a specific trade or like a general contracting company with partners to hit goals that we never thought we could achieve. I call it your field of dreams. So I've seen, 6, 7, 8 million. I would love to see 20, 30, 40, 50 million.
Yeah.
But all the partners succeeding and everybody feeding each other's families.
I love that.
And almost like a baseball team where, there's 9 guys pushing for each other on the field in the World Series. I take that mentality, because I was a catcher. I take that mentality, I bring that into business. So I want to grow something bigger than my name that could be sold in the future for a lot of money and set up a lot of families and leave legacy, which is the most important for me with my children.
I was going to say that really speaks to your purpose and passion.
Yeah, there's a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm as hard as it comes when it's an entrepreneur. You knew me when I first moved here. I packed up all my stuff from New York and my Dodge Challenger with my 2 dogs and a car full of clothes, and took a chance on my future. And here I am sitting today now with a large general contracting company.
And that's quite the testament. That is quite the testament to show that you're a leader in the industry.
Well, it's all glory to God, man. I got saved back in 2022, and ever since then, he really changed my heart, and he changed my purpose in life. And I've been able to use my pain and all the trials and tribulations and turn it into purpose. And you know me from a personal level, but anything I do now, there needs to be a purpose behind it.
Absolutely.
So I used to,
Absolutely.
Younger years, you waste a lot of time and energy, chasing. And then when you find your purpose, it's like, I want to stay in these lanes. This is what makes me happy. This is where I find joy. And through the Lord, it's really helped me, gain consciousness and just be able to stay still and make effects.
Amen. And I think that people need to see more people who, like yourself, are driven by the Lord, driven by God, and what that looks like in the everyday life. Because so often we go to church on Sunday, we pray, and then it's like you just leave it at church. And you're like, well, I'll be back next Sunday, God.
So true. Just had this conversation with a friend yesterday. It's like, what are you doing with your actions to not just talk about it, not just go to church on Sunday? And I put a lot of work in behind the scenes, for me. So I just know how important it is, because when I had nothing and hit rock bottom, God was there for me.
Absolutely.
And that's a beautiful thing. And again, it doesn't have to be as extreme as me, but if you can find your faith and whatever that is, whatever you believe in, you really start to feel genuine and authentic in your own being.
Absolutely. And if people love you, which I know they will, and they want to reach out, they're interested in either some general contracting or they've got a certain issue that they already have, windows, doors, roofing, etc., what's the best way that they can find you, contact you, and book you?
Yeah, I'm an open book. So, I mean, I love my cell phone. Give me a call or a text message, 469-215-8222. You can also go to our website, husoconstruction.com, HUSO construction.com. I also have the Field of Dreams Business Podcast on Apple, so you can find me there. And if you put in Stephen R. Orfis on any of the social media platforms, you'll find me everywhere. I'm a Google Nazi, freak. So you'll find me all over Google.
That's right. You've got your own podcast.
That's right. Yeah. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Stephen, for being here. And you guys, again, you will love him if you need any type of, whether the repairs, whether it's a consultation, whether you're just looking to make some expansions in your home or your place of business, please reach out to Stephen and you'll see he's as phenomenal as I believe. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Mary. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a wrap.
Awesome.